welcome to Bulletstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, ever by my side, Trevor Scott.
The grey-bearded one himself. Looks a bit like Santa Claus.
Yes. You've definitely... I've got the little streaks of grey. I've got the silver fox thing going on. But
this is all just grey. When you see me at PAX, it's just all grey, and then the mustache has got some, still got some colour in it, but that's it.
But, dude, it works. It works. It's, we don't need to pretend we're not in our mid-40s.
Fuck. Turning 45 is
that.
It's real mid-40s. It's like halfway through my fucking life.
Well, I'm truly mid-40s.
Make me feel
anyway.
old. Still play video games.
Young at heart, as most millennials are.
Young at brain.
Hold on to our youth. I hope so. Hopefully for as long as possible.
Yeah.
What are we doing, Trev?
We're just going to play some click pitch. Clickety pitch. We haven't done that for a little while, because last week we did something a bit different.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to the deductive games, because I think we really, really enjoyed the games that we came out with. I don't know what my mood is right now. I haven't had a drink, but I am in a bit of a silly mood. So I guess we'll see what actually happens. So hopefully it won't be as silly as the last time that I was in this sort of mood. But anyway, Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we're going to click refresh. We're going to get our words. We're going to throw them at each other. We're going to come up with some games using them just as a prompt. It's our game. We can make up the fucking rules as we go.
That's it. There's no laws here. You can't
police
overthrow
us.
our podcast and police our words.
Yeah. It's in our constitution. We get to do
the podstitution.
The podstitution. Anyway. So when we don't like that game or we're kind of bored of it, we can throw those words away and we can click refresh again and get more words.
That's it. It's fun.
That's the name of the game.
If we don't get bored of it, maybe it'll just be the whole episode on one game, but who knows? That's also fine.
That has happened before. Not often.
It has.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
Boom.
Stand by.
Okay. I'm waiting for your word.
Yeah. It's stand by.
It's stand by. Okay.
Yeah.
And boom.
Boom. Boom.
Boom. Boom. Boom. Boom. Boom. Boom. Yes, it's Baldrick's the German guns from Blackadder Goes Forth.
Oh, yeah, I got that reference right away. Okay. Oh, I mean, that makes me think of some sort of, missile, you're ready to launch the missiles sort of thing. It's, you're on standby there's war breaking out potentially, and you're waiting for the call.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, waiting for the call and me thinking about boom also is very much Blackadder Goes Forth, waiting for the call to go up over the trench.
Okay.
And you can almost have something along those lines of you're waiting, you're on standby because at some stage you're going to get the call and everyone in this trench is going to be sent to their death.
Maybe then, just to take it away from the purely historical sort of thing, just because it can be good to move away from real life,
Yeah. Alien trenches.
Well, I'm thinking are you one of a fleet of ships that is, waiting to go through the wormhole that's going to take you into the battle or something? Because I do like the idea of of creating this really tense situation then.
Of everyone else is there, they're all in the same situation, and you're sort of just talking between you. You can talk to some of the other ships. I think it's a very dialogue-driven game in a lot of ways, and the getting to the battle is the end of the game, potentially one of the endings maybe. But it's more about creating this situation where you're
talking to the others, wondering what's happening. You're getting some news back that is maybe, oh shit, we're likely to need to go soon to make the call. It's going to happen, and then you get some other news. It's like, oh, okay, things have shifted.
Such and such has mutinied, and they've had to put him in the brig, and you could actually have a little bit of story coming from some of the other ships. You can
Well, I mean, I do like the idea of there potentially being this. The call is going to come from your commander, but not everyone. Like, this commander is not necessarily a well-liked or agreed-upon figure and is not a good leader, and so big parts of the fleet may not be ready to follow him or take his lead. And so, you could even have, like, a change in leadership that you're not even party to necessarily happen halfway through the game.
And I think this is rife for storylets because there's so many different ways that you could go with this in conversations, and depending on what's happened is something happens on all the ships, and it's like this ship can go down one of these stories if such and such has happened.
Interesting you bring up storylets. So as you and I have talked about a little bit offline, I played through a bunch of Expelled recently. Which is by Inkle, and they wrote the Ink dialogue engine. And I dug into that a little bit, and because I thought they must have been using something kind of like storylets. But I think they've just
got these weird chains.
They've got these weird event chains thing. Even before that, it was clear then that actually they're just using really intense branching, essentially, with a lot of just conditions happening with every dialogue, which it's just interesting comparing that to storylets, because I think you and I have a very specific sort of sense of storylets.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way they describe it could almost work in a similar way to storylets, where, okay, you've got an event chain, as they said, is a storylet, but maybe you only get a certain way through it, and then you move on to then you're moving over to a different story. But it's still setting things in the game state, and in their case, the chains themselves were part of the game state, essentially. But yeah, it could be something along the lines of that, where you've got these sort of heavily branching or like just events and discussions that affect the game state and what you know about different members of the fleet and the leader and what's going on and how much access you've got to information, but playing out in this in dialogue.
I almost saw when you brought that up the other day, like I think it was even yesterday that we were talking about this on Facebook. I started thinking back to the old AI thing I was looking into for enemies in something like a Elden Ring or Dark Souls or something like that, where they were sort of saying that you can give them a bunch of, these are the different things that they can be doing, and then it's weighted based on, what things have happened recently. Have they seen an enemy? And then you'll get a higher weight for that.
Yep.
That could work very much in the same line of they've had this conversation with you and they're now reaching the end of their current thing. Maybe that gets weighted more to the front, and they choose something like that. Like,
I think that's relatively common in storylets to weight them based on various things. I think sometimes it's just the one that meets the most conditions is weighted more highly, or is just literally the one that is selected to be played next, which means you are then more likely to, if you've got a condition on a storylet that this previous storylet has been seen or played, then obviously that's an extra condition so it's more likely that you're going to get the conclusion to that sort of arc or that storyline. But yeah, this would be definitely good for that, especially because from a sort of gameplay perspective, particularly if you're focusing mostly around dialogue, is I think you've just got different people coming up on your screen, like on your, you're there in the bridge and you can talk to your bridge crew, and that's a certain type of conversation, and then you can contact people out in the fleet, and you're getting different, hails coming in.
You may have, something coming through, and it's like, okay, you need to make sure, call down to engineering and make sure they've got, X amount of fuel ready to teleport across to this other ship. And it's like, okay, so you're doing a little bit of management from that perspective, but the majority of the game is just here's the dilemma. You've got such and such talking about not wanting, their second in charge doesn't want to actually go into the thing, and they've had to throw them into the brick. Yeah. And now you got to sort of try and help them, work out what they can do next and who they should be, promoting to the new second in charge. And
yeah, well, I like this in a lot of ways similar to Expelled, where you are just kind of making your way through this branch of, or this it's more than a branch, but like this branching set of things that can affect each other in different ways, and that you'll eventually end up with an ending.
Yeah.
And that ending could be a ton of different things, and different, you may have hit different touch points along the way, but, you can get the ending where, everything goes, everyone follows the leader, you end up going through, and then depending on other things that have happened, it's either a successful attack or you fucking blow up and die, because there was a storylet that came up around the engineering thing, and you weren't able to resolve it because you didn't have the contact to get refueled or whatever it is.
Your engineer had mutinied because he didn't want to die, and you had a conversation and you reminded him about his daughter at home, and he's all of a sudden decided.
Like you made a personal connection. And what I think where it would differ a little bit from Expelled, so one of the things with Expelled is the characters have a fixed schedule.
Yeah.
And they are in different places at different times. And then the way that sort of your storyline plays out through that is, were you there at that time?
Yeah.
Like
you will get a conversation.
And then again, how far have you gone through a particular event, like chains with that person, and what do they know, and what what has happened?
Sounds like they learned a lot from Overboard, and then they took it further for Expelled.
Well, I want to go back and play that, actually. I don't think I ever played Overboard.
Yeah, definitely. 3 to 1 click.
Yeah.
Let's
Diamond.
Substance.
Oh.
So immediately I'm like, did I click on movie because there was a new movie out called
Yes. Have you watched it?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, I have watched it.
I've got it there, ready to go.
It is interesting. It's
I hear very
interesting
good
vibe,
and it's got body horror, which is why it's
very much body horror. Yes, extreme body horror.
Right up my alley, because I love body horror.
Yeah, it was a good movie for sure. But you haven't watched it, and so I don't think we should use that as a...
No.
Well, I mean, we can do body horror if you like, but obviously we won't use the plot of Substance.
No.
Or The Substance, I guess.
I do like the idea of going body horror and Diamond, though. Like, you wake up one day and one of your hands is just covered in diamond.
Right. It's covered, or it's literally become diamond. Yeah. Yeah.
Like crystallized carbon, which is all diamond is, but it's fucking hard, and it can cut holes in glass like that.
In glass. Well, maybe it starts literally at your fingertips, so it doesn't feel like a hugely extreme thing right away. It's like, oh, what the hell?
But throughout the course of the game, a la, your Hellblade Sinuous Sacrifice.
That's what I was thinking of, yep.
It gradually grows up the arm, and the idea is, as you get killed. I'm thinking one of the things that we haven't talked about for a while is a bit of an action-y game.
I was just thinking that, do we make this an action fighter kind of thing, action brawler, where it's like, okay, I've got a fucking diamond hand. It's the hardest substance on earth, and I can punch through your
diamond fist.
Diamond fist, yeah.
Yep. Like,
it's pretty awesome.
There's something about that, when you fell asleep, your hand was in sort of a fist shape, and now it's just this.
Oh, so you literally can't move. Yeah, it's fixed in a shape. I mean, I guess that makes sense. So what could be interesting?
I think it starts off fingertips, as you said, but by the time you get to,
you can start scratching. You cut
a hole in glass, and you You're a window washer. That's you don't want to.
What's the conflict then? If we're making this like an action fighter, like what's the conflict if you're just a random window washer?
You're a random window washer who happen to be washing the windows of like
a lab.
I'm thinking like gangster / mafia headquarters. You happen to be on the outside of this.
Okay.
Happen to be on the outside of this massive skyscraper. I think, you're right. We could be talking lab here, and
I'm just trying to think of what happened.
So, as you're going down, you witness like someone getting killed in an office. And you quickly hit a button, go down. You end up in front of a vent, and it gets blasted right into your face, like this,
or into your hand,
into your hand. Like you put your hand up to sort of stop it getting on your face.
Yep.
And you wake up the next morning, and your fingers have all started turning into this thing.
I was almost thinking it like you do that. It also knocks you out. Like you are literally still on this thing on your little lift. Maybe you like hit the button so you end up all the way at the top and then it's broken and you can't get down, but you realize, hey, my fucking fingertips are diamond, and you cut a hole through the glass
and you get
now you're making your way down through this building where there's these fucking gang members. Even the lab is part of some evil scheme or whatever. Henchmen everywhere. Becomes a cool brawler. Lots of environmental stuff, throwing people out of windows.
Fuck yes. Give me that Bulletstorm sort of, punch someone in the face and just kick him out of a window, and you get style points for it and all this sort of stuff.
Very much like for sure. I enjoy
do like the idea of the window being very strong, so you got to weaken it first, so you can go over there and sort of scratch it up with your hand, and then you can kick someone out of it.
Yep.
Okay. I know that we've done the skyscraper going from top to bottom. I mean,
it's kind of
cliche,
classic,
but
that's fine.
There's something about it being a crazy first person brawler.
Oh, you're thinking first person. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that could work well. I mean, like you said, the Bulletstorm thing obviously
that's why I was
lends itself to that. Yeah. So I wonder then if, what I was thinking is, as this thing is progressing up your arm, your move set is going to change, right? Because like at the beginning, your main strength is your fingertips are diamond, so you
can stop bullets with
weakening
your
glass.
Fingers.
You can. Well, I think maybe that comes once your whole hand. Like I'm thinking, okay, after a certain point, it's now your whole hand, and it's been crystallized into a fist, and now now you're like
the moment that happens,
punch moves and stuff.
You put your hand over someone shooting a gun, and they shoot, and you see it radiate out from where they shot into your hand. It all turns diamond.
That's cool.
And then your hand just closes, crunches.
It's almost
the
like
gun.
a response to the damage. Yeah,
it's kind of like your hand's hulking out. It's not going to get hurt.
Yep.
But
now all your moves are like, now you've got these super powerful fucking uppercuts and hooks and stuff. Like, then it's around that. But then something else happens, and now it's your whole arm, like up to your shoulder potentially, and now you're having to do like shoving people, or you've got this whole arm thing. Maybe you can still do a hook if you've got your elbow, your shoulder joint.
Oh, it's all roundhouse punches.
Well, you can spin. Like now you've got and just shifting up that move set could be really interesting then, as you like to mix things up as you're going through, while still obviously kicking people out of windows. You've definitely got a kick move as well. Like you need what was it? Heroes of Might and Magic, was that the one that what's the one that really brought in the kick and the physics based stuff first?
I don't know.
Dark Messiah of Might and Magic was what it was.
I never played it.
Oh, really? That's like an old first-person When did it come out?
never saw Heroes
2006.
of Might. I never saw Heroes of Might and Magic as like a first person sort of.
No, this was very much.
It was just Dark Messiah was. It
was a different thing. There you go. It's $1.87 on Steam right now if you want to try it out. So,
I mean, I'm gonna have to.
But yeah, it's like it says action RPG, but like one of the big things was you would just
own it.
Oh, there you go. You would ragdoll kick people. Oh, you're right. It used Source Engine. It was one of the earliest games that licensed Source after Half-Life. Well, 2000 Half-Life 2.
Well, 2006, so 2004 was Half-Life 2. So
Half-Life 2. So I think it was one of the only and early games to license the Half-Life 2 engine, essentially, or a version of Source at that point. But yeah, very much around ragdoll physics of kicking someone into a spike trap or off a fucking mountain or like, yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
Now I feel like I want to go back and play that now too.
It's on my Steam. We live in the same house, don't we?
Yeah, for sure. Gonna install that.
Pod brother.
Cool. All right.
But no, that actually sounds really cool. Let's just talk about how it would end.
Okay.
Would you turn fully to diamond at the end?
Yeah, I guess. Because once you go past sort of it enveloping like the shoulder and into your torso, like where do you go from that? Like that might be your final move set, but like how far is it gone once you get to the bottom and you've killed every evil guy in this building?
Well, I think you've got to come up against like there's got to be some sort of lab person who
where you find out sort of what this is and what's happened and whether there's a way to reverse it.
It may be that it moves to such a point that you can't actually move, and this lab person who you saw in the first scene, they were involved in this killing of this other person.
Yep.
Basically, the reason why they killed this other person is because they had this diamond thing as well, and they realized that obviously when they got rid of this person, the spores came out and attached to you, and it's hit you in a totally different way. And so they're like, we're going to try one little experiment, and they hit they spray you with something and it all limbers up, but you're still effectively made of diamond, but you've actually got joints now. And
right, it's like it's made your bones diamond or something. It's like sunk further into your
so it's no longer on the surface.
Your biology.
It's internal.
Now you're just super strong and
that's cool. And then there's a sequel.
Yeah, totally. It's
Fist of
it's Fist of Ruby.
It goes weaker.
But it's a different protagonist, this woman. Her name's Ruby.
Okay.
She still has diamond fists.
Yeah.
It's just we're making it confusing.
3 to 1.
Yeah. Honeymoon.
Drawback.
Ooh. I don't know if this is possible, but I was thinking of a different way drawback would work, and I thought of it being a deck builder. So how are you a deck building honeymoon?
I was thinking, okay, drawback slingshot. You draw that back.
Oh, like drawing it back, or like a bow and arrow.
Yeah. So it's VR, because bow and arrow immediately makes me think of.
Yep. That's the best interface for a good. You could go slingshot. That could be fun too. Slightly different.
Cupid.
Oh, okay. Playing Cupid in VR.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So instead of killing people, you're trying to get people to fall in love.
Yes. Is it strategic then, or is this a horde shooter?
It's strategic. Because...
Okay, but I do like the idea of a horde shooter where you're just shooting everyone with arrows and then they just pair up and go away. That's how you get rid of them. But no, I think, doing it as a strategic thing, again, in that, not going down the full branching narrative thing, but like, you've got specific people and
you're listening to their conversations and you try to go, okay, this person has these likes and this person has these likes.
Oh, I wonder if it could almost be a puzzle game.
A bit different.
I'm thinking of almost like a Hitman style setup where it's a relatively contained level.
Yep.
You've got different people and they're kind of going about their schedules.
Yep.
But
there's a few people that you can pair up.
It's about listening to them and figuring out, who is the... And maybe there's, in each level, there's one, like, soulmate connection that you are trying to make. But then there's also... There's side quests, essentially side ones, where it's like, if you listen enough here, you'll see that, like,
these two people could be fucking in a closet in,
totally.
And have a great time.
And if you don't shoot them, they'll just continue to be friends with benefits. But if you shoot them, then it will start developing into something more. You see.
I mean, they just came out of the closet, and you can
right, like figuratively.
No, they literally they were just fucking in the closet, and they're now coming out. And so they've got that sex stank on them.
Which you can detect as Cupid.
You can. You see the pheromones.
Cupid has a really good sense of smell. No, I like pheromones. Like, that could be interesting, that when people are like certain types of attraction. Well, because the other thing I was going to say is maybe you've got lust and love arrows. Or like different arrows for different types of relationships, essentially, that you can choose to, or you either have to choose the right one, or, but maybe instead of that, maybe it is this, like, you can read types of attraction, like sexual attraction, more emotional connections, and repulsion as well. Like,
I'm imagining now there is one soulmate connection on the level. Yes. And you need to obviously get that soulmate to talk to each other. But the problem is that they're sexually attracted to other people along the way and all this sort of stuff. So you've got to pair the other people that they could be attracted to up, get them in the closet fucking with someone else, so that this person get through without wanting to do that themselves, so that you can make the soulmate connection happen. Again in
the Hitman way, I think you could very much do it level by level, and as you get to know, it's like, okay, well, this person is going to be turned off because they find out that person's in a relationship with someone else. This other person might not care. It's pure sexual attraction. They're ready to cheat, like. And so that, and so it is strategically like, okay, getting an understanding of the different people in the level, where they might intersect, who might be attracted to who, that you could like give that push to actually hook up or start fucking in the closet, or just go for coffee, and then that person is no longer, in the way of a certain thing as the actual soulmate person is walking past.
I kind of like the idea of not being able to tell early on who is soulmate material. So the idea is I think that you are doing multiple runs.
I think you are doing multiple ones. I wonder if instead of it being like, you need these two people to connect, it's like you need to find the soulmate for this person. Like, you've essentially got a mission for a particular person, but it could be anyone else in the level. You don't know. And it is, okay, you might follow them through the level and see their schedule, and they don't go anywhere near this person. But if you see that, if you, in a different run, like, essentially monitor that person, you'll be like, they're fucking perfect for each other. Like, they've got all these connections or whatever. And so then it's about, okay, how do we get them together close enough?
Yeah.
And that can be, and I think you can even, your arrows can affect other things. You can shoot a window and smash it open, and so everyone wonders what happened, runs over there, or
you can start a nuclear meltdown if you wanted to. Like, get them into that shelter.
Charge up.
Get them into that shelter.
Charge up that arrow.
Get them into the shelter of love.
You're basically Cupid Hawkeye. You've got your different arrow types.
Purple suit. Played by Jeremy Renner.
Played by a cherubic Jeremy Renner. Cheruby Renner.
Cheruby Renner. Name of the episode.
Yep, definitely. Well, I mean, on that note, maybe that's where we end this episode.
That's where we're going to end it.
I think that's a good button as any. So if you would like to find our previous episodes online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. They're all up there. Give them a listen. Give them a review. Whatever. Let us know what you thought.
Please do. And if you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, you can now download that episode. You can now download that song from kuradust.bandcamp.com. The song is called Mount Defiance, and it's on the album Containment Failure. You can download it for free.
Yeah.
You can listen to the whole 10-minute song.
Just like you did download this episode.
Yes.
To have heard this at all.
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. And I'm Cheruby Renner.